Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are strapping in for quite a ride. We're doing a high-velocity 2-week plunge right into the heart of Genoa City chaos.
Yeah, deep into it.
We're specifically covering everything that went down between September 29th and October 10th based on our detailed source material.
A really packed couple of weeks.
Our mission, really, is critical. We need to filter through all the noise of this high-stakes corporate warfare, try and extract the truth buried in, well, a whole series of personal betrayals, and ultimately figure out why, seemingly, half the cast suddenly decided to pack their bags and head off to the West Coast.
It is an incredibly dense period, you're right. And what's fascinating, I think, is that the entire kinetic energy of these 2 weeks really orbits two crucial but, very different centers of conflict.
Okay.
So first, you've got Sally Spectra's dangerous lie of omission. Seems small, maybe a personal thing, but it has the potential to absolutely detonate Billy Abbott's very fragile recovery right now.
Right, Billy's always on edge.
Always. And second, there's Adam Newman. His growing anxieties, which are actually very well-founded, about the incredible instability being actively, manufactured in Genoa City by the biggest players.
And the information overload involves, well, the usual suspects, doesn't it? But with unusually high stakes this time.
Definitely.
You've got the ever-feuding Abbotts, the constantly plotting Newmans, and then these various external players who are currently pulling strings and just injecting chaos. We're talking Kane, Jill, Sally herself.
Yeah, it's a mix.
We are essentially looking at a system that's been deliberately destabilized by its most powerful actors who are, for the moment, aligning, which historically is probably the most dangerous state Genoa City can be in.
It really is. It's like the calm before the ultimate storm.
Yeah.
And Adam seems to be the only one who hears the thunder coming.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We're starting right where the money and the power clash the corporate battlefield, because that feels like where the biggest, most expensive lies are brewing right now.
Good place to start.
We begin with Billy Abbott trying and, well, failing to restart his life.
Again.
We jump straight into Monday, September 29th. Billy Abbott tries to execute one of his famous pivots.
The Billy pivot?
He shows up to see Jack, makes this grand declaration that Sally Spectra, of all people, has made him see the light.
Right.
He claims he's ready to forget the Chancellor drama, forget revenge against Kane, and focus exclusively, constructively, on AbbottCom.
It's the classic Billy cycle, isn't it? But this time it feels, I don't know, maybe more desperate. A brief moment of professed clarity, often inspired by a woman he hopes will ground him, followed immediately by a demand for capital to fund his new, improved vision of himself.
Exactly. He's got his hand out, asking Jack to fund AbbottCom again. But Jack, according to our sources, is clearly done with this cycle. Done enabling him.
Understandable, maybe?
Jack denies the funding, states it flatly, nope, the checkbook is closed. But here's where we need to dig a bit deeper. We see the classic Billy cycle, sure, but doesn't the source material kind of indicate Jack's tough love here might actually be counterproductive?
How so?
Well, he's trying to enforce maturity, right? But by denying the constructive path, the profitable path, he might actually be pushing Billy back toward the revenge that Jack supposedly wants him to avoid.
That's a really crucial observation. Jack's reasoning, on the surface, it sounds okay. He believes Billy is inherently untrustworthy right now and will eventually just change his mind, revert to old habits, waste the family money. He's basing this on Billy's track record, not really his current emotional state.
Right, past behavior.
But this creates a very real domino effect like you're suggesting. If the constructive, family-supported path is blocked, well, the destructive, independent path of vengeance against Kane becomes all the more tempting, especially for a character like Billy, with his volatility and that profound need he has to feel righteous.
Yeah, he needs that justification.
Exactly. Jack's rejection, that financial denial, is explicitly what fuels Billy's later struggles with healing and trying to move on. He now feels totally justified in focusing all his fury externally.
So Jack maybe inadvertently just torched Billy's very short-lived recovery play. Okay, now onto the main event of corporate absurdity, the unholy alliance.
Oh, yes.
Victor Newman gets a visit from Jack Abbott. They're talking about working together just momentarily to destroy Kane Ashby.
This is, it's truly monumental, almost biblical, you could say, in terms of Genoa City dynamics.
It is huge.
The two titans, Victor and Jack, who've basically defined their lives by their antagonism towards each other, are momentarily uniting against a common enemy in Kane.
And Victor's take?
Victor naturally believes that the combined might of the Newmans and Abbotts makes them invincible, thinks they can take Kane down easily. He sees this as a historical moment, a necessary convergence.
But the sources are crystal clear on Victor's motivation here. He views this truce as strictly temporary, a tool of convenience.
No, so
He's described as seeing it as a bigger deal than it is, meaning he's already mentally prepping to capitalize on the alliance while it lasts, already anticipating the eventual betrayal.
Yeah.
The plan is only temporary, lasts precisely until Cain is dealt with. This is cold, calculated power, not a peace treaty.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Nikki Newman
Knows him best.
knows her husband's psychology better than anyone on the planet. She explicitly warns Victor, don't stab Jack in the back.
Which you'd think might work.
But this warning is vital. It acts less like a deterrent and more like a challenge to Victor's very nature.
Ah.
Victor's ego dictates he must always win, and winning means proving his dominance. A genuine partnership. That implies equality, which Victor just cannot tolerate.
So Nikki's warning.
Nikki's warning doesn't make him less likely to betray Jack. It makes him more likely to turn on Jack later. Because he views the truce not as collaboration, but as a strategic maneuver that he fully intends to exploit and break the second Cain is eliminated.
Well,
The source material basically guarantees this truce is a ticking clock, calibrated entirely to Victor's need for ultimate control.
it gives us that dramatic irony then. They unite against one external threat, Cain, only to create a much bigger internal threat, Victor's inevitable double-cross.
Precisely.
Okay, moving on to Friday, October 3rd. We see the immediate follow-up to this, well, shaky alliance. Victor and Nikki brief Nick and Victoria on the truce. And Victor has to admit something quite rare during this little family meeting.
Yes, he admits he did, in fact, underestimate Cain. He notes, with maybe a bit of grudging respect, that Cain didn't cave to the blackmail.
Which is huge for Victor.
Extremely rare admission from Victor Newman. It really highlights just how formidable Cain has become in their eyes. Victor then tries to justify the alliance, arguing that even though he doesn't think Cain will use that dangerous AI tech against them, they still had to take him down just to make sure.
The classic just to make sure. The corporate justification for extreme overreaction. It gives the Newmans and Abbotts, under this temporary banner, basically license to deploy whatever heavy-handed plan they want, overriding any semblance of legal or ethical restraint.
And the action is immediate. Friday, October 3rd, Victor and Jack officially launch their joint plan against Cain. This means the resources of both families are now fully mobilized.
Okay, simultaneously, though, injecting even more volatility into this whole mess, the threat of Jill Abbott's return is looming over everything.
Right, and Jack initiates this. He video calls Jill on September 29th, essentially demanding her presence.
Like, get over here now.
Pretty much. He urges her, get on a plane, get here, deal with your boys, meaning Billy and Cain.
He's essentially demanding her presence not just as an ally, but as a disciplinarian.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
He catches her up on the corporate chaos and reminds her pointedly that she's been too forgiving with Cain in the past.
And Jill, meanwhile, is already deeply upset because Billy, in his current spiral, is still icing her out, rejecting her attempts to contact him.
So her maternal frustration is already sky high before she even gets on the plane.
Exactly. Jill arrives on Thursday, October 2nd. And her arrival immediately injects this severe level of tension because she is a true wild card.
No one knows what she'll do.
Right. Nick and Victoria, discussing the whole unfolding situation, specifically worry that Jill's involvement will make things worse, not better. They think it might cause Cain to ramp up his behavior, maybe emboldened by his mother's presence.
Nick's concern is particularly pointed, isn't it? And this connects right back to Billy getting rejected by Jack.
How so?
Nick worries that if Jill sides with Cain, her often favored, though manipulative son, it will push Billy over the edge. Billy's already struggling with Jack's rejection, his own festering fury. Nick thinks it'll make him spiral out even more. So the arrival of one mother, Jill, could completely destabilize her troubled son, Billy. It just proves how deeply personal this corporate battle really is.
And we have that added, very intriguing speculation in the sources. It's wondered if she and Sally will plot together.
Ooh, now that would be something.
Right. If Jill, a corporate power broker, a master manipulator, teams up with Sally Spectra, who's a master of deception and ambition, that would be a formidable, frankly terrifying duo.
It suggests Jill's arrival isn't going to stabilize anything. It's going to accelerate the existing conflicts dramatically, especially considering the secret Sally is currently keeping from Billy.
Good point.
Okay, let's transition now into part 2. We're focusing on the insidious deceptions and the growing anxieties swirling around these corporate battles. This really proves that the instability in the boardroom immediately translates into, like, emotional poison in private
It
relationships.
always does.
We start with Sally's big secret.
Okay. On Tuesday, September 30th, Sally keeps a secret from Billy. The sources meticulously describe it as lying by omission.
Important distinction, maybe.
It is an important distinction. While it sounds less severe, maybe, than an outright fabrication, the danger isn't really the content of the lie itself. It's the nature of the relationship she has with Billy. She's omitting key information that could absolutely destabilize his life right now.
That's the crux of the risk, isn't it? Billy has, let's be honest, done worse things than lying by omission. He's no angel.
Definitely not.
But we know he has that hair-triggered temper, especially when he feels betrayed or manipulated. This secret, which might relate to Sally's upcoming video call with Jill, maybe, or their immediate business dealings.
Could be either.
Or both.
It could be the spark that sets off his spiral, especially given his precarious emotional state after Jack shot down the Avicom funding. Sally is literally sitting on a tom bomb, basically calculating if her ambition is worth the risk of Billy's inevitable explosion.
Meanwhile, Sally and her business partner, Audra Charles, are having some serious internal struggles. Audra is actively pushing Sally to find business elsewhere, demanding they diversify their interests outside of Billy's orbit.
Why? What's
I-
Audra's issue? Because Audra intensely dislikes and deeply distrusts Billy. She does not want to be involved in any project where he has a leadership role or even a peripheral one.
Okay.
And Sally, for her part, is already struggling with Billy's antics. The sources confirm that even before this lie potentially explodes, the professional and personal stress of being tied to Billy is becoming unbearable for her.
This really highlights the immediate cost of ambition for Sally, doesn't it? She's caught between her business partner, Audra, who wants out of the Billy drama, and her volatile boyfriend who can't even get funding from his own family.
Tough spot.
If she chooses business stability with Audra, she risks her personal life with Billy. If she chooses Billy, she risks her career.
Yep, classic soap dilemma.
But the most important element for us, for you listening, in truly understanding the danger of the Victor Jack truce, actually comes from Adam Newman.
Adam acts as this unique objective observer here, precisely because he's outside the core alliance, but he's related to both men.
How does this come up?
On October 3rd, Nick heads over to Newman Media. He shocks Chelsea and Adam with the news of the truce and also mentions his own upcoming trip to LA.
And Adam's reaction?
Immediate, profound, full of dread. He is very worried about Victor and Jack teaming up.
Why does Adam's worry carry more weight than, say, Nick's or Victoria's concerns?
Because he knows instinctively that nothing good will come of this truce. Adam cares about both men, in his own complicated love-hate kind of way.
Oh, right.
And he's caught in the middle. He's uniquely positioned to view the alliance dispassionately because he stands to lose or gain nothing immediate from Kane being destroyed.
Okay, that makes sense.
Exactly. Adam's perspective provides the crucial so what on the truce. Nick and Victoria, they worry about Kane's AI threat. They buy Victor's justification that they have to act just to make sure. Adam looks past Kane. He sees the inherent psychological danger of the alliance itself. It is unstable by design, fueled by the temporary suppression of decades of rivalry, and both men are driven by these massive, fragile egos.
He sees the bigger picture.
Adam is the emotional seismograph, basically predicting the collision course that everyone else is ignoring because they're too focused on the immediate target, Kane Ashby. Adam's concern is the clearest signal the sources give us that this temporary partnership is a plot device designed to fail catastrophically and involve a lot of collateral damage.
That level of generalized anxiety from someone like Adam really proves the danger is real. And we see the strain this general state of corporate and emotional conflict is putting on personal relationships across the board, even outside the immediate corporate battle.
Absolutely. On Wednesday, October 1st, we learn about a major personal crisis brewing. Michael Baldwin is apparently back to his old ways, which Lauren Fenmore dislikes immensely.
Uh-oh, what are his old ways?
Likely refers to the manipulative, ethically gray behavior he resorts to when working for Victor. Especially concerning backroom deals, leveraging information, that kind of thing.
And Lauren tells Nikki this.
She tells Nikki she just can't deal with it anymore, despite genuinely loving him.
Wow, that puts Nikki in an extremely difficult position. If Nikki knows, or even suspects, that Michael has been conspiring secretly with Victor, which is highly likely, given Victor's need for plausible deniability,
Mm.
It creates a massive conflict of loyalty for Nikki. She's trying to counsel Lauren, her longtime friend, who's suffering because of Michael's unethical actions,
Right.
while simultaneously shielding her husband, Victor, and his accomplice, Michael, who are engaged in this corporate warfare. The war against Kane is literally destroying her friend's marriage.
It's a mess. And the domestic conflict doesn't stop there. We also see tension heating up between Tessa Porter and Mariah Copeland.
What's happening there?
Tessa's busy defending her actions to Sharon, who's apparently grilling her about following Mariah to demand answers about their marriage. This isn't just a subtle disagreement.
Who's siding with whom?
Daniel Romolotti is standing firmly in Tessa's corner, supporting her direct approach. Sharon thinks Mariah needs time and space to figure things out, favoring patience and emotional distance.
But Tessa's not having it.
Tessa is adamant. She insists that getting answers, even if it's painful or difficult, is the only way to save Mariah and their marriage. She believes that without direct confrontation, without immediate resolution, the marriage will just atrophy and drift apart.
It's like the difference between waiting for natural healing versus demanding immediate, potentially painful surgical intervention.
Exactly. Tessa clearly believes that if they wait, the marriage will just succumb to the general malaise and chaos gripping Genoa City right now. It shows this deep-seated fear that the lack of resolution is actually more corrosive than the confrontation itself.
Okay, let's pivot now to maybe the most surprising and structurally significant development of this whole 2-week span, the massive, sudden geographical shift. Half of Genoa City's key players are heading west.
Yeah, this was a big one.
It all starts with Claire Grace Newman.
Right. On September 29th, Claire breaks up with Kyle Abbott. The sources describe the reasoning as, well, classic soap opera fare. It's not you, it's me.
Ah, the classic.
She states they moved too fast. She was too naive. She needs to live more. But she maintains she still loves Kyle. It sounds like an emotional reckoning, maybe, but the sequence of events right after suggests something else entirely.
The speed and nature of her pivot is astonishing, really. Suggests this was maybe a premeditated tactical exit.
I think so, too.
After shedding what is literally described in the sources as a few tears, not days of mourning, mind you, a few tears,
Just a few.
Claire immediately calls Holden Novak and asks to go to LA with him. This is not the action of someone paralyzed by a broken heart. This is someone executing step 2 of a carefully laid plan.
Absolutely. The breakup seems much more like a logistical maneuver just to ensure she's free to move rather than any actual emotional reckoning.
The fallout back home.
Instant. Back in Genoa City, Kyle is quite upset, feels abandoned, obviously, and Audra Charles, who is always looking for a weakness to exploit, is expected to taunt him relentlessly about Claire's departure with Holden. It gives Audra a new potent weapon against Kyle, which she'll probably deploy right after dealing with her own recent relationship failures.
Okay. Now, on to the great Newman-Abbott migration itself. Nick and Sharon Newman are heading to LA for a few weeks. Why? To see their son, Noah Newman, who's opening a new club out there.
This creates a significant, honestly, a critical mass of major Genoa City characters all in Los Angeles at the same time. You've got Nick and Sharon there. Claire and Holden are also confirmed to be in LA.
Right.
And Holden specifically mentions selling properties. That's the key logistical detail that seems to link these characters together geographically.
And this detail is key for speculation, isn't it? Because the writers didn't just put that in there accidentally.
No way.
The sources immediately connect the dots, wondering if the Claire Holden storyline might overlap significantly with Noah's new club business.
Could Holden be selling a property that Noah wants for his club, maybe facing competition from Claire? Or perhaps a property that Claire might use as her base of operations in her quest to live more? Lots of possibilities.
And this LA trip isn't just a quick scene either. We know Lucas Adams, who plays Noah, will be appearing soon. That reinforces that this is a structural investment of major characters into an external setting.
It's highly unusual, this migration. When major players, Nick, Sharon, Kyle's ex Claire, a new love interest Holden all congregate in a secondary city like LA, it really suggests the writers are laying some serious groundwork.
It also requires new faces to fill out that secondary location, right?
Exactly. The sources note the debut of several new characters in LA, a cop and 2 others.
And here's that fun meta detail for the dedicated audience.
Yeah, this is interesting. These actors are alums from General Hospital.
Ah.
So for viewers who watch across multiple daytime dramas, that cross-reference gives an immediate hint about the caliber of actors coming in. It reinforces that this isn't just temporary filler material.
So this geographical shift, combined with the new character intros and that explicit link through Holden's property dealings, it forces us to question the show's whole structure, doesn't it?
It really does. Is this temporary? Is it just designed to isolate Nick and Sharon from the impending collapse of the Victor-Jack truce back home?
Mm-hmm.
Or is the show intentionally setting up a massive, self-contained, parallel branch of drama that requires a new cast and a secondary geographic hub?
It feels like the show maybe established an external pressure valve to divert characters when Genoa City just gets too crowded with conflict.
Could be. It's a fascinating development.
Okay, moving into part 4, let's wrap up some of the key sidebar scandals and ongoing personal agitation that will definitely set the stage for the following weeks. We start with Audra Charles. She's clearly licking her wounds and immediately planning her next move.
Yeah, she attempts a reconciliation with Nate Hastings. Seems like she's trying to reestablish a stable, powerful relationship, but the sources are definitive. Nate is totally done with her.
Really? Just shuts her down.
Completely. Gives her zero time, zero opening. Shuts the attempt down completely.
And this swift, total rejection
Is explicitly called out as setting the stage for what Audra does next. We know she's hyper-competitive, deeply ambitious. Now she's professionally disgusted by Billy Abbott and rejected by the two men she seemed interested in, Nate and Kyle, who's grieving Claire. Audra is basically a loose cannon waiting for a new target or a new source of power.
Given her past ruthlessness, her next move will almost certainly be destructive.
Almost guaranteed. Simultaneously, we have two classic Genoa City personalities taking aim at each other. Nikki decides she needs to give Diane Jenkins a reality check.
Okay. Why now?
Given the context of the Victor-Jack truce, this is likely Nick just asserting her territorial dominance. Jack's temporarily distracted by the war against Kane. Victor's distracted by plotting his betrayal of Jack.
So Nikki sees an opening.
Nikki likely sees Diane benefiting from Jack's temporary alliance with Victor and wants to ensure Diane knows the ground is not stable beneath her feet, reminding her that Nikki is still watching. Very closely.
It's about reminding Diane that even if the Titans are united for a moment, the wives are still enemies.
Pretty much. And then there's Phyllis Summers, predictably.
Oh, Phyllis.
She's desperate for Damien's attention, likely meaning Kane, trying to insert herself into his life and drama. But the sources suggest Jill might step in and take immediate control here.
Jill, the disciplinarian again.
Jill, having just returned, positioning herself as this power broker and disciplinarian, might advise Kane to completely reject Phyllis. And the quote the sources use is incredibly vivid. She might tell him to chuck Red right out the door.
Chuck Red right out the door, that's potent.
It really is. It shows Jill positioning herself firmly between Kane and any distracting romance or influence, focusing him solely on the corporate battle he's currently waging against two very powerful families.
So the strategic rejection of Phyllis further isolates Kane, leaves him solely dependent on his mother's potentially volatile support.
Exactly. And dramatically raises the stakes of his corporate maneuvers against Victor and Jack.
And finally, we circle back to Billy Abbott. During that crucial week of October 6th through the 10th, despite his promises to Sally, his stated desire to be a better man after Jack's intervention, he struggles intensely to heal and move on.
His core obstacle just remains his relentless focus on revenge, his consuming fury at Kane.
It just won't let go.
And if Jill, as is heavily predicted, enables Kane, maybe by providing corporate cover or financial support or even strategic advice, it will drastically exacerbate Billy's internal conflict. This enabling will make his promised attempt at reform almost impossible to achieve, and will almost certainly fuel that inevitable spiral that Jack's initial rejection really set in motion.
Billy is at a breaking point, and the entire landscape of Genoa City seems set up just to push him over the edge.
Absolutely. So if we look back at these 2 weeks, we've covered just absolute systemic and emotional drama. The Victor-Jack truce is unstable, designed to fail. Billy is on the brink of a massive breakdown due to both financial and emotional rejection.
And multiple core relationships, Kyle and Claire, Tessa and Mariah, Michael and Lauren, are fracturing under the pressure of all this corporate chaos.
There's a lot.
So what does this all mean? Beyond the immediate plot points, what's the key takeaway from you about the structural direction of the show right now?
Well, the source material shows a really significant structural investment in Los Angeles. This concentration of major characters, Nick, Sharon, Noah, Claire, Holden, all migrated west, combined with the introduction of new actors who were established names in the daytime drama world,
Mm-hmm.
it forces us to ask a crucial structural question.
Which is?
Is LA simply a temporary setting?
Mm-hmm.
For a quick plot point involving a club and a property sale, designed just to get certain characters a brief vacation from the main action back home? Or is the show actively laying the groundwork for a massive, permanent relocation?
Yeah.
Or maybe a parallel branch of drama that extends far beyond the traditional confines of Genoa City? The writers are making a calculated risk by diverting so much narrative energy out west. It could potentially signify a permanent split in the geography of the show's power base.
It feels like the show is testing the waters, maybe, for a permanent secondary theater of operations, suggesting that the conflict-gripping Genoa City might just be too large to contain in only one zip code anymore.
It's definitely something to watch.
Indeed. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the deceptions and anxieties gripping Genoa City. We encourage you, the listener, to keep exploring this information and see which storyline, the truce or Billy's temper, explodes first.